Hello all, welcome to my channel. Today our agenda is real-time scenario 2 we will see in our today's class. So this is a real-time scenario for our client where accessing the Lakehouse Delta parquet table as Apache Iceberg in Snowflake. It means my client is having data in Lakehouse and this is in Delta parquet format. Now we need to access that table as Apache Iceberg table in Snowflake. We are not moving the data here, but we are accessing the data in Snowflake as Apache Iceberg. To do that, we need to follow some steps here. The first step is here. We need to check whether both Fabric and Snowflake are in the same region or not. The prerequisite to do this is your Fabric and Snowflake should be in the same region. And after that, we need to enable Apache Iceberg table format virtualization in Workspace. So once we enable it, we will get some metadata files in our Lakehouse. And after that, we have to create external volume here in our Snowflake. Once we create the external volume, we have to find out the description of that particular external volume. It means one app will create automatically along with the external volume, and for that app we need to give app consent. Once we describe that, we need to give app consent in the workspace, and for that we have to give member access to that particular app in the Fabric workspace. And after that we need to create catalog integration in our Snowflake. Once we create that, now we will create that iceberg table, whatever the table you want to access in your Snowflake, that table you have to create in your Snowflake. Once you create that, then you will be able to access your Lakehouse Delta parquet table as Snowflake Iceberg table in the Snowflake. We will see today that in practically. Now let me go to my Fabric. So I am here in my Fabric. I have logged into app.fabric.microsoft.com and I am here in my workspace, and I have opened one of the lake houses. Now as a first step, I need to test whether my Fabric and Snowflake are in the same region or not. So for that, first I will see my Fabric region. Already I have recorded one video for this, how to find out our Fabric region, in which region your Fabric is deployed. You have to go to this question mark, nothing but your help and support, and you can click on about Fabric. Now it will show you your data is stored in Central India. It means this is the region of our Microsoft Fabric deployed. Now my Microsoft Fabric is in Central India. Now let me go to my Snowflake and let me check whether these two are in the same region or not. Now if I go to my Snowflake, if I click on my account here, now if you can go here on your account, it is saying Central India. It means my two regions of Fabric and Snowflake are same. Now my first requirement is fulfilled. Now let me come to Fabric, and after that, as a second step, I need to enable this Apache Iceberg virtualization option. So before enabling that, if you can see here, if you can click on the tables, three dots of this table, and if you can click on view files, no, here I don't have any metadata here at this moment. But once I enable that option, no, you will get that particular metadata file here under this view files. Now let me enable that we have to enable at the workspace level. So I'll go to my workspace here. Now if you can see workspace settings, click on workspace settings, and after that scroll down, and after delegated settings, if you see, click on one lake setting. Now you have option this enable Delta Lake to Apache Iceberg table format. Now click on. Do you want to confirm? Yes, confirm. Now once you enable it, you can just go to your lake house, and if you can just refresh it now, you will get that metadata option here under this table. So once you enable it, this metadata will be formed, not only for one table but also for the remaining tables. You will get that metadata. So as a first step, you have to check whether your Snowflake and Fabric are in the same region or not. And as a second step, you have to enable this Apache Iceberg virtualization. Now as a third step, you have to create external volume in your Snowflake. Now let me go to my Snowflake. Now I have here query already. I have written one query here. If you see, create or replace external volume, here I have created. So as a third step, you have to create your external volume. And now if you see here you have to give external volume name and storage provider as Azure, and the base URL. How to take this base URL, I will show you now. So if you go to here, if you can go to your table session and click on properties, here this URL, whatever URL you have here under this URL, this you can copy. After copying, you can just come here, and if you can paste it here now, only here you have to just remove this HTTP and instead of this HTTP you have to keep your Azure, and after Azure you have to keep this URL whatever you have. So now let me copy this URL and let me put it here. Now here I have taken my URL whatever I have in my Lakehouse, and after that let me remove this. Now after that, this tenant ID, I have already made one video for this, how to know the tenant ID. So if you can just go to your question mark here in the Fabric, when you click on about Fabric, then you will get this tenant ID. Whatever you have here after CTID, this is your tenant ID. So we kept that tenant ID here. Now as a third step, let me run it. Now I am creating here one external volume. Let me run it. Now I have created that. Now as a next step, you have to describe that external volume so that we will get one app registration here. Now let me run this one as well. So once it ran, we got one information here under this property value. Just click on that and you can copy paste this one. Now let me copy it and let me paste it to one notepad. Now here whatever we have after this URL from this HTTP, from here you have to take this type equal to quote. You have to copy this as a next step and you have to give app consent here. So for that, just copy this and go to your tab and take one new tab here and you can paste that and click on enter. So once you click on that enter, it will ask you your mail ID and you have to give that mail ID. Now it will ask you that do you want to give that app consent? If yes, then please click on yes. Like that it will give you. So after giving the app consent, your window will return like this. Now you can come back to your Snowflake. Now after this enabling your app consent, after giving app consent, you have to go to your workspace and you have to give access to that particular app. You have to give member access or contributor access to that particular app in your workspace. Now come here and you can see, if you see here, after app name you have this app name underscore app ID. So take this app name and come to your Fabric. Now here click on manage access, click on add people and give that app name and you can give member access here or contributor access. Now I am giving member access here, click on add. This is the next step, and after that as a next step here you have to create catalog for that particular Apache Iceberg table. Now this is the query to create the catalog. Now I am creating that. So my catalog integration successfully created. Now I am creating the Iceberg table. Now let me go and showcase to which table I am creating the Iceberg table. It means which table I need to access, which Delta parquet table I need to access from here in the Snowflake. So I'll show you that. I am here in my Fabric workspace. Now let me open this one. Now I have customer address like this. So I have product table, right? So this product table I want to access as an Apache Iceberg table from the Snowflake. So that's why what I have to do, I'll click on three dots here, click on here view files. Now I will get this metadata file. Let me open it. Now we have these many versions in my metadata file of the sales LT underscore product. Here whatever the highest version we have, that we have to take to access as Apache Iceberg table. So click on here three dots and click on properties. Now here if you see this relative path, just copy this relative path. Now come to your Snowflake. Here in this query, create or replace Iceberg table. Here you have to give your table name. Here my table name sales LT underscore product. After that external volume, yes, this is my external volume integration, and after that here whatever you copied, this one, the metadata file URL, whatever you copied this relative path, that relative path you have to paste here at metadata file path, but you have to remove these tables from this from sales onwards. You have to copy that. So I have already copied that. Now let me remove this. I have already included that. Now let me run this one. Now my table has been successfully created. Now what I will do, I'll just refresh it so that I'll get that particular table from this list. Now if you see, this is my sales LT underscore product. Let me execute it so that I'll get that particular table information. So this is my table after executing. It means whatever the table I have in my lake house and which is there in the form of the delta parquet. Let me show you that. So if you see, this is the table which is in the delta parquet format and this is in fabric. Now I want to access this table as Apache Iceberg Table here in the Snowflake without moving. So this is how we have to do in the real time, and this is one real time scenario where we have already created the solution to one of our customers. Thank you guys. If you have any queries or you need any other advanced topics, please reach out to below email ID or you can post in the comments so that we will try to cover the topics in the upcoming classes. Do like, share and subscribe to my channel, and do remember, with the right data, every challenge has a solution.